Azania, a young lady born in Bloemfontein in the early 80s, this is her story.
I was born in Bloemfontein, the dusty roads of Hedendal. I was one out of 4 children, and my mother took in 3 other kids that felt like our own. And my parents was trying to give us a good life, but I felt they were too strict.
She started making unstable decisions and in turn had to go through a journey of sadness, heartache, bitterness, blame, shame, rebellion, and rejection.
For instance, I wanted to get back at another girl by kissing her boyfriend, and it ended up in uncontested sex. It actually changed my whole perspective of life and about, as a young girl, my self-image, my self-esteem, and my focus was shriveled.
Because of the decisions that she made, her relationship with her mother was not like before. It was hard for her to have an open relationship with her mother.
I never realized that she faced her own struggles with my dad that led to their divorce, that led to him not being present at all times, that led to my elder sister also being a mother figure to us. I remember one evening when my mom and my dad was fighting, and it was just clothes on my bed because my mom was doing her washing, was doing the home's washing. So I heard them arguing, and I used to get between the clothes, the clean clothes, and I will just sing in moments like these, and every time when I sing in moments like these, it will take me to a place of safety. It will take me to a place of, you are fine, you're gonna be fine, everything will work out.
Azania's parents got divorced in the midst of her hiding a deep secret. She was raped.
I remember after the incident, my mom gave me money, and I kept the money for taxi fare into town. At those years, the taxi fare was 5 rand, and I went into the doctor's surgery, and I was standing there with my school clothes, and I felt the shame. And as I walked in and people were looking at me, I thought they knew what happened. And I said to the receptionist, how much is the doctor? Can I see the doctor quickly? And it was a terrible experience to tell the receptionist. I wanted to know if I was pregnant. But I turned around and just walked out. And I longed for that acceptance. I longed for people to accept me for who I am, the different I am, the crazy I am, the lovable I am. And it was difficult.
Azania thought that by joining a local church in Opkom's Hedendal, maybe she would become a different person. She later on met a young man and she felt accepted.
I got pregnant at the age of 20. And we thought we need to get married because of the baby.
Thinking the boyfriend was the answer, Azania had to face a decision that wiped out everything that she dreamt of.
We had to separate at first. The divorce was never final. At the age of 22, I just thought to myself, to get out of Bloemfontein, because everybody knew me, who I was. But everybody didn't know that I was busy dying inside. And then I moved from Bloemfontein, I moved to George. I was confronted at that point in Bloemfontein with shame, with rejection and embarrassment. And it felt as if divorce was written on my forehead. People could see that I was divorced. They could see how I looked. And I just felt I need to get out. I was dying inside. That was the first time when I felt earth open up and just grab me. I no longer want to be here. So at that moment, I was in George, and I was moving from one place to another place, staying with different people.
Whilst in George, she told herself that she's gonna take time to find herself, but because of the heartache and the hurt, she found herself having a relationship with a man twice her age.
I thought maybe I was trying to make right decisions. But all my pain of my marriage, of my husband, my first husband, my ex-husband, it made me wanted to be with girls. And I was with this specific girl, and she accepted me for who I was. During that point, I was doing dacha, I was doing tak, I was doing alcohol, and we were drinking in taverns, playing pool, and I thought this was life for me. Not thinking back of I had a kid in Bloemfontein, because I thought I'm gonna find myself that way. The more I got attractive to this girl, I felt in tune with her. She was nice and she made me laugh. And at that point, we broke it off because one day, I met this guy.
Now, while in the process of trying to find herself, she met a young man and he was just what she was looking for.
Wow. This is maybe the man for me. That's how I felt. I was in another place where nobody knew what happened to me. Nobody knew what my background was. Nobody could judge me. That's how it felt when I was in another place.
Her mother got sick and she had to ask for a transfer back to Bloemfontein, and they could only find her a position in Kroonstad, which is approximately 200 kilometers from Bloemfontein.
This was the place where I was shamed. This was the place where the first time, it was the place where I was thrown in the deep end. I was newly married, staying in a flat with my husband. We were happy, but sometimes some weekends he would leave me, he would go out, and I would stay all alone in the flat. So I had the opportunity to go back to Kroonstad. I had to go and restore some things that was broken. That's what I believed.
Her divorce was finalized while she was in Kroonstad, and she went through a healing process by approaching some of the people that might had some hostility against her.
I went back to people, I apologized, I asked forgiveness, I moved on. Wow.
She decided to go back to church hoping to find healing, and just when she thought things were going smoothly,
the guy that I met in George also came to Kroonstad to live with me. And everything just went, like we say in Afrikaans, it went deer mekaar, it went haywire. Everything went from bad to worse at that point. He started drinking, he started having friends. They started to tell him who I was, what I was. They told him my past. They told him everything I did.
Azania came from church one day and found her boyfriend drunk, and he started accusing her of sleeping with someone at church.
I looked around, and as I was looking around, I had this silver, beautiful sandal. And I just saw how it was in two. It was cut up. All my clothes, it was cut up. And I started to ask him, who did this? What happened? And he was accusing me and accusing me. And he slapped me and he choked me down on the bed. And he was assaulting me.
While struggling with her boyfriend on the bed, she thought to herself that if she doesn't fight back, he would surely kill her.
At that moment, I got up, I hit him back, and we fought. And I was dialing my cousin, and all she can hear, that's what she recalled. She said, all I can hear in the background was someone arguing. And she immediately knew it was me. She got into the car, she and her husband, and they drove down. And they took my bags and they took me.
Her mother also came to Kroonstad after hearing about the incident.
The next morning, I looked into the mirror and I saw how I was bruised. I remember one friend, my best friend ever, and people were saying, because they heard that I was assaulted, but nobody believed me. And she said, whilst you are saying you don't believe her, I believe her. She was assaulted because I knew she was assaulted. And she fought it for me through. She kept my name and she just protected me through this whole thing, this whole ordeal.
This boyfriend went to the police station to make a case of defamation against her, and because of this, they stopped dating.
He was obsessed with me after a while. I remember standing in church with practice, and then I will just feel someone just looking at me. But his family came to Kroonstad, they fetched him, and he automatically is back in George.
While staying at her cousin's place in Kroonstad, she was torn between two conclusions.
Number one was I was already starting to make plans to go back to Bloem. From Bloem, after Bloem, I was applying for a position overseas, and I already applied for my passport, got my passport.
Number two, she met a new boyfriend at church, and he was quite an adventurous guy.
One evening, he got onto his motorbike and he was on his way to me. But he was in such a way to get to me. And he got into a very bad accident that left him with a very bad injury in his head. And he resented me for it. He resented me for the accident. And he didn't want to hear about me. He didn't want me close. He just felt that I was the last person to be seen, and he did nothing. He didn't want to have nothing done or do with me because he just blamed me. And one day I remember I bought him some DVDs and I went to him, but I was on the opposite of the street. I remember it's Cross Street in Kroonstad. It's just this busy street. The street is constantly busy, and he was on the other side. And I looked at him and he looked back at me, but it seems as if he was staring right through me. Didn't he see me? I said to myself. And at that moment, this busy street became so quiet. It was like shh, and it was like quiet, all quiet. There wasn't no movement for that few minutes, but it felt like a long time. And God said to me at that moment, do you feel how it feels when the people you love so much turn away from you? The guy who was standing on the other side turned around and he walked into his job. And I went back to my workplace and I repented. I said, I'm sorry, Lord, for making all these guys God, and they're not. and they're not.
Her local assembly was hosting a prophet from the United States, and he spoke into her life by telling her that she will get a better job after everything that she experienced.
I was the second person he prophesied over, and I only remember a few of his statements, but there was one that he says, you're going to get a new job. You are applying for 12 other jobs, but the devil took it away from you. And it was precisely because I went for 12 interviews in the previous year. So he was spot on everything that he said. And I was like, Father God, this is truly a man of God.
While being involved in the singing at the church, they formed a group called Agape Love. And this is where she met Azania Barends.
I knew her before we even formed the group, and I saw another side of her while we were working together, whereby I also, had this idea before we met, sharing some personal stuff and so on. I had this idea that everybody had in the community, or most of the people had, according to how she divorced at the age of 22 years, and we all had that kind of like, hoekom was sy geskei op daai ouderdom, and wat is fout met haar, and all those things. And to be honest, I was one of those people. But as I said, when we formed the group, I saw another side of her. She just has this, this other kind of personality that made it easy to just fall in love with her.
Brian was involved in an organization that focused primarily on sexual abstinence.
In that time, about 2 years and a half ago, I was invited to go perform, like a rap song to the young people when the Silver Ring Thing group was there by the Blow School, or is it the Roy School? I can't remember well. Yes, and then they had a wonderful evening for the young people where they spoke about sex before marriage, the importance of abstinence, and all those things. And I was so encouraged by that. After my performance, I sat throughout the whole event, and I bought myself a book which is half the New Testament, and the other half is like teachings where they teach you the importance of your relationship with Jesus and so on.
Now, because of his commitment to being abstinent, Azania felt that Brian was holding her past against her.
She thought I was rejecting her. I didn't want to get close to her or intimate with her. I'm making excuses. As a faithful Christian that she was already at that moment, she still felt that maybe I am like one of the rest of the guys, whereby I still think about who she was and where she comes from. Those were my thoughts. It just made sense after the short history that she had with guys. And I guess I wanted to prove myself that it's not like that. I wanted to prove myself by, finally being intimate with her, and she got pregnant. She called me this day from work, and then I was so confused when she showed me the pictures of the baby. She went to the doctor, and then she showed me that it is so, and I'm about to be a father, and we are not married. I was happy and confused at the same time, because I was in this church where I'm not married, I'm about to be a father, and I'm the worship leader. So I sat in the car and I thought to myself, oh man, what's gonna happen? And I'm looking forward to seeing this little face and this baby, and I'm imagining me being a father, changing diapers and so on. But on the other hand, it was tough. I was told by church leaders that I should leave her and just pay maintenance, child support, because she's not good enough for me. And the whole thing made me doubt the relationship. It really made me doubt the relationship. I won't lie. And this one day, while walking from Maukeng to Brempak, which is the place, the colored area. So I was walking towards the colored area from my mother's house in Maukeng, and I was struggling with this thing. I felt like killing myself. I felt it's too much. I don't know why is it happening. Why is it so complicated? And everybody told me how she was and who she was and where she comes from. All of a sudden, all those things came up. And I remember walking, thinking, you deserve better, you deserve better. And I heard a voice asking me, what if you were the better one that I reserved for her? And that right there made me change my mind towards the whole thing. I felt stronger. I felt like doesn't matter who says. I've been with her for a few months. It was like almost a year that we were together, and they don't know who they're talking about. These people don't know what they are saying. Yes, it might be true, but I'm telling you what I saw was different, and not just to make me feel good and to continue with the relationship, but really honestly I felt I'm going to continue with this. And I shut everything down and I told myself, I'm sorry, I'm not going to listen to these people. God spoke to me and I'm going to continue.
Brian and Azania has been married now for 8 years and they are still going strong by the grace of God.
When I think of our relationship and where it started and how it started, I forgave everyone that said anything against her and so on. People don't know. People don't know how things could turn out and so on. People just go mostly on experience and so on, and it's fine. It's not like I kept those people as my enemies and so on. But one thing that I admire about my wife is when everybody gave up on her, she didn't give up on herself. I love my family and we are just going strong. Remember, the church is where we find ourselves, the people supporting us in our, lifestyle, our daily needs and so on, the pastors that the Lord is sending our way. I'm just grateful to be the character that I am in the story of our life as a family.
You are holy and perfect. Who else can be compared to you? Jesus, my Redeemer, my Savior and my friend. Your love grows deeper. You are faithful till the end. Nothing can ever change you, not even my faithfulness. You are.
My second marriage, it's how you perceive some stuff, how you deal with certain situations, and it made us a strong family. It made us a family with a vision, what we want, and a family of togetherness, whereby I didn't have it, but now we have it. And I love them. The smallest one is now 3 years old, very wild, very running around. We've got Karis, the second one, and then we've got my child from the previous marriage, Atalia, in his own unique way. And we as a family, we stand strong. We pray together. The season in Kroonstad taught me a lot of things. It groomed me into the person I am right now. And as I go strong, as I've learned different lessons out of my life, I want people out there young girls, not to explore, but to learn lessons out of everything I've done so far. Through everything I went through, God has placed this assignment on me to mentor young girls, to inspire them, to change their minds so that they may change someone else's mind. Like a Joseph, he was misunderstood, and the different hurdles he went through was for the good of his own. So at the end of my story, it was for my good, but it was to change someone's life, not to make the same mistakes I did, not to make the same unstable decisions that goes to rebellion or shame or rejection, but to see a bigger picture, that whatever you may face, you can achieve it, you can go through it, you will stand strong, you will stand tall, and you will someday fly. My husband wrote a song that I am featured on Unashamed Volume 1, and it was a song for me. And every time when I sing it, the first time I sang it, it was a song that spoke about my life, about what I went through. And it goes something like this. Standing here with a broken wing, trying to fly, but it's unreal. Everybody gave up on me, but in their disbelief, I believe that someday I will fly, someday I will rise, someday I will smile again. Someday I will fly, someday I will rise, someday I will smile again.
cause I'm on the winning side. And since it is not my fight, I'm gonna fix my eyes on him, cause I've got a purpose and a dream. Tell me if God is for me, now who can be against me? I wanna know if God is for me, yeah. Now who can be against me? Cause I'm called, justified and glorified. There's no way that I can hide, cause this thing manifests from the inside. And in Jesus I'll always abide. He is a living God who was with God and he became flesh so I can be alive. The very same power that raised him up makes my blood circulate in my pumping up.